Okay, looks like we're live.
Yeah. Okay.
We are. Yeah. Has it popped up on your screen on the side?
Not really, but you know what? It's still showing me 92% uploading. I don't know.
Okay.
You
So
you are the expert
probably
in that, so
it'll probably take its due course and end up there. But it looks like yeah, we are. We are.
okay. Okay. There's no lag
Awesome.
from my
Well,
end, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
no. I think you're good. I think you're good. I think you're good.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
everyone, welcome back to another live stream from the Area 51 podcast. Today, we've got a very, very, very special guest. I don't think I emphasize enough. I'll add one more very. Vidyut is the very first guest who we have had on the podcast since we've started. I think we're now a little over a year and a half old. Vidyut has been our very first guest. And I'm sure it was a welcome change for you guys because you guys must have been tired of hearing mine and Sanjay's voice. So we reached out a video. I still remember it was sometime in Feb or March, and being very the gracious person she is, she immediately jumped on board, and we
Hey.
had a great time recording. Yeah. And that's Rohit.
Yeah.
Hey, Rohit.
Hello. Oh my God. Hi, Rohit.
Hello. This is live,
Finally,
live.
we see each other.
Okay, live. This is. Are you guys like still talking through this?
No, we are live.
No, we are live. We are live. We are
Hi,
live.
everyone. Hi,
You
everyone.
called in right. Well, we got a special guest. I was going to do like an intro and build up suspense, but then Rohit already jumped in, so it's great.
I thought I'm late. I thought I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like 5 minutes late into this.
No. You're just on time. Just on time. So, for everyone who's not aware, Rohit Sharma, who's our very own journalistic hitman from America, for Vidyut, if you didn't get it, hitman is Rohit Sharma from India. So there was a there was a photo that he put with Rohit
Yeah.
Sharma on Twitter. And so it's like two Rohit Sharmas side by side. That's when I was like, damn, we have our own journalistic hitman in America. So
I'll tell you what. When I got to talk to him, again, we shouldn't be talking about it. It's long story short, we ended up in a very good conversation. And so after I spoke to Rohit, I met Sky and Surya Kumar Yadav.
oh, you met Sky too?
Yeah,
Wow.
I met all of them actually. So when I went to Sky, he addressed me. He's like, "Oh, Rohit bhai, you," and we started laughing. It was just funny because everybody knew, okay, this is the other Rohit Sharma in the room. So, anyways, that's a different story. So thanks for
That
having
is
me.
crazy.
And I just want to add one more thing. Vidyut is amazing. I mean, what she's done. I don't think, honestly, because I've talked to a lot of people everywhere. I mean, apart from I think Immigration Voice, anybody else who's brought real voice to this issue is the documentary and what she's done. So, hats off to what we've done with you. I mean, amazing.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. Well,
100%.
what a great note to
100%.
start with, right, Rahul? Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Rohit.
Yeah.
And I'll
No,
talk more about, how your support has been absolutely priceless for
Yeah.
that. We'll get to that.
Great.
Yeah.
We've got such great champions of immigrant voices on the podcast today. So, for all those who don't know who these folks are, if you've been living under a rock, Vidyut is an amazing documentary filmmaker. She's won many awards in India. And she's come to US, and then she, if you haven't heard episode 5, more RRR, Alien is Here to Stay, Vidyut decided to do a documentary film on the plight of Indian high-skilled immigration workers in America. And Alien, which was the product of that vision, is actually such an amazing watch. I had the opportunity to catch it, and it's been making the waves. And along with Vidyut, before we go on to introductions, we've got Rohit as well, who has been doing a great voice covering many stories of Indian immigrants here. If you've been following his Twitter handle, you probably know how much of an impact he makes. I rarely have seen a tweet of his which didn't have at least a couple of thousand likes. So you
that's a lie.
you guys have
That's a lie. Whenever I post my photo, I get 0 likes. So.
not the one with the other Rohit Sharma.
I got to call in the big names, right? So yeah.
The big- So welcome to the show, guys. Vidyut, let's start off with you. How has it been? How's the journey been since you came on the podcast? Like, what have you been up to? What has Alien been up to?
What has Alien been up to? Yeah, I like that. His title for this whole life was like, "What has Alien been up to?" Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rahul, firstly, for having me back because it all started here. I mean, Rohit, just to give a recap to you and to all the viewers here, we literally, Rahul just got in touch with me. And I said, oh, I'm really busy with my, the first world premiere of the film. And then he was polite persistence is what he, absolutely imbibed. And yeah, so I was on their show. And yeah, so Alien has got a good ride, Rahul. I'm very happy to say there's lots to be done. Okay, so I'm happy but not really satisfied yet. But yeah, I mean, just to start with, we had such a great opening for the film at Kansas, as Sunaina Dumala's husband Shrinu's what could have been his 39th birthday. We wanted to really celebrate his legacy, and she just one fine day just called me and she said, Vidyut, I know you're almost on the verge of completion of the film. Is it possible that we can actually screen the very first screening, your premiere at his birthday, on March 9th? I said, absolutely, I'll make it happen. You asked it, I'm going to make it happen. And then, of course,
Awesome.
we filmmakers, started working backwards, with the timeline and deadline. It was all messy, crazy, but we made it happen. And I was really honored. And it was such a solemn occasion. We were just celebrating his legacy, and we had such a robust panel discussion. That was something like 125 audience in the theater. Great turnout. And I was very, actually what I was really happy was that, there were immigrants, there were Indian immigrants also, but there were a lot of non-immigrants. I mean, I shouldn't be saying non-immigrants in the sense everybody is an immigrant in this country, but what I mean is they were not first generation or second generation. There were whites, there were blacks, there were Hispanics, African American community, I mean, Caucasian, I mean, all kinds of people were there in the audience. And they were asking such amazing questions that why is it affecting only Indians? What is the 7% per country cap? And I loved it. And it was such a, I mean, it just went on like almost for 45 minutes. We just had to, stop. And the theater guys had to say, can you guys, continue this discussion outside? Of course we did. So I would say it was such a successful screening, and what a start for the screening. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm eternally grateful to Sunaina. And after that, we've had screenings at film festivals. I mean, we've had screenings in India, in the US, we've had screenings at public libraries. It is also a part of the curriculum at UC Santa Cruz. So
oh, really?
Twice I have been on, Zoom, through Zoom meetings, I have interacted with this bunch of, youngsters, like literally, they are in their first year and second year, and they have been asking, they are, actually telling me, that, yeah, our parents are going through this right now, or, they have gone through this. So it's fascinating. So I would say Alien has got a good takeoff, and it's up in the air. It's flying well, but I really feel it has to reach its destination yet. There's lots to be done. Yeah, and I'm waiting for that.
I think you're doing a great job with that. I mean, the amount of effort to just run this along with, and back then you were juggling a day job as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Juggling a day job. Then you're doing the getting the documentary put together, showing up at film festivals. I don't know how you did it, but
that was the only way I could do it.
From done, but
yeah.
But I know you had a support of amazing folks like Rohit. How did you guys meet? Like, I was very surprised when I stumbled across Rohit's profile, and then I saw associate producer Alien. I was like, whoa, I didn't know this connection was there. So how did you guys meet?
This is Vidyut being, such a nice person, and she said, hey Rohit, you talk about the backlog stuff, and can you help me promote the film? And I said, sure. And then I was like, I'm going to steal a title from you if I do that, shamelessly. And she let me use it. So that's how it happened.
Not at all. I mean, it was. Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying it's very instrumental to have champions to back you, right? And Rohit, again, like, jokes aside, and you being modest and stuff, but the fact that you threw your weight behind a project like Alien, right? Not only did it come as a blessing for Vidyut, I mean, I'm sure it's come as a blessing for the entire community, because we were able to get that initial reach, right? Just to get the word out that there's something. Even now, when I talk to people, they're like, oh, Alien, oh, it's shit, you're doing something with Alien, that's awesome. Like, people know about it. And that, I feel, is apart from the promotions that you did with Youth, is, I feel, testament to the fact, the reach that Rohit and a couple of other champions that you've had, support you.
Absolutely. Even, I mean, Rohit definitely. I mean, I still remember that first conversation. Rohit was like so gracious. Okay, Vidyut. Hello, hi. That happened. How can I help you? Very to the point, the journalist. Okay, tell me what exactly are we at business at? And I just told him, of course, maybe I gave him a 5 minute answer on that. But no, no, but I mean, absolutely. I mean, Rohit coming on board, tweeting about it, absolutely was priceless. And even Vivek Wadhwa, I have to really, mention him. And Rohit, actually, you led me to him. Rohit actually helped me, in getting the contact. And he said, just write to him. And he was absolutely generous. I just literally randomly just wrote to him, I'm so and so, and I've made this film. Would you be kind to, just basically we released the trailer. I tagged him and he released the trailer on LinkedIn and on Twitter. So that was a great boost. We had we had a great takeoff to the film through him. So yeah, and along with him, so many others. You're right. And we did a small fundraising campaign also, and there were so many people who contributed. So I have so many people to thank for. It takes a village, and I completely believe it. Our village is just growing. Yeah.
Before we proceed, I'm just going to read a comment from our folks who are tuning in, Rohit. This Padma, a good friend of ours, said, Rohit is a great fighter and patriot of our cause. So I just wanted you to know that this is being said
Thank
in the
you.
chat.
Thank you. I do want to
Anuj,
say one thing. I mean, so I read most of my comments. I do, and one thing I've realized is, I think a lot of people have the fear of what we write, and will be taken against us, and this and that.
Yep.
And I've had this conversation with other people too. I think at the end of the day, you live you live slash work in a country where you can express yourself and what you feel in a very
Yep.
Yeah.
nicer way. You're not calling somebody a fool. I mean, some people do that, and I laugh at it. But like at the end of the day, I would encourage everybody to engage as much as they can in this cause. If even if it's interacting with the tweets, or even if it's just talking about the movie, right? I mean, you're doing nothing wrong by promoting the movie, right? Because I met somebody and they said, we live in this fear ki kya hoga hamare approval ka, and I'm like,
Yeah.
kuch nahi hoga.
Yeah.
I don't think they know enough about you to do something, and they cannot. I mean, they just cannot. So yes, to Padma and everybody, thank you so much. Whenever you write nice messages, it allows me to write about it more, talk about it more. So keep doing that. And if I'm wrong in any way, please correct me. There have been times I've tweeted something and the information was not, it was not pertinent to what I'd written. And then always take a feedback and say, okay, you know what, I need to delete this or edit this. So please do engage as much as you can with me. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. And another comment, a lot of people asking, where's Sanjay? So just a heads up to folks calling in. Sanjay had something pop up at the last minute and he couldn't make it. So that's why
Sanjay,
he's
I
not
don't know
here.
who Sanjay is. I'm sorry.
Sanjay is my co-host. He's usually
Oh,
there with us.
I'm sorry. I'm on your podcast with your co-host is missing. I'm filling in for Sanjay, guys. I'll fill in
Yeah,
for Sanjay.
you are, because someone's like, Sanjay looks very different today. I was like,
Yeah, someone has written that.
An
that's
alien has
Anuj.
taken over Sanjay's body.
It's the alien
That's Anuj.
effect.
The alien effect.
Yeah.
Back to the show. Back to the documentary with you. How has the response been? You said you've had multiple screenings, right? You told us about one Q&A session in at Kansas, right? Have all the responses been the same, like throughout America or like in India when you've gone? How has the response been?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you asked that because in Kansas, like for example, people were talking about policies. People were talking about the senators and the politicians who are backing this, issue, not backing this issue. So they were interested in problem solving, right? It's like, they were really interested to know
That's
why
very
this is.
positive.
It's very positive, absolutely, and that's why and that's why I feel it was a success. That I mean, as a filmmaker, your biggest gratification is when people watch the film and they start talking about the subject rather than, oh, the lighting was not good, or you could have done a little bit about the camera. Why were people looking? Absolutely nothing. They came directly to the point about what this issue is all about. They were definitely moved by the stories because we really have some really strong, stories. I mean, Rahul, you've seen it, and I feel very proud about them. And again, I would say the credit goes to all the characters because your film is as good as your characters, and how open they are, how honest they are with their emotions. So they have done a great job. That made my life easy, as a director and as an editor.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's the strength of the film. But what I felt, overall, in US, when I screened the film, the whole discussion is about why this issue is so messed up. Why is it so complicated? What can be
The
done? What can
relatability
we do?
quotient must have been high, right? The relatability quotient must have been really
Yeah,
high.
it's like,
Yeah.
and literally people getting up on this. I still remember, what can we do? Somebody asked me, what can we do? And so these are very positive things. Now, just cut to India. I was just at a film festival at the Mumbai International Film Festival, right? So people watch the film. Now they are all from India and they know somebody from their family. I mean, let's face it, it's not an alien concept for any middle class family in India to have there somebody from their family in US,
Yep.
right? Either it is
Yep.
their immediate son, daughter, sister, or some relative. So for them, it was like an eye opener. They were like, really, is this what is happening with high skilled immigrants? And then some of them were very, and again, I have to give it to them, because for them it is more of, it's a decision making thing. Like, you took a decision to go there. If it's not working, just come back, right? And it's a
Yeah.
very black and white issue. But I completely understand, if probably I was staying in India and I had not left the country 18 years back, and if I would have seen my friend or my relative suffering like that, I would have said that, come on, yeah, just come back. If there's so much of problem, I wouldn't have probably said, okay, you should probably go to the, walk the aisles of the Congress and talk to senators, talk to politicians over there, and make this problem the highest
Yep.
priority. I wouldn't have probably said that. So I completely get it. So, but I have got like both sides, where people are trying to see what could be done to mitigate this, to lessen this, whole issue. And on the other side, people are like, come on, if it's not working, just come back. So for me as a filmmaker, it's very fascinating. And I like both sides actually, to engage with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
Can I add something to that? I mean,
yeah, Rohit. I was just going to come to you because I don't know if you remember, we had a Twitter conversation on a very similar topic, right? You
yeah,
remember, like, is Jayashankar going to come and and you were like, why should they, right? Why
no
why
reason.
should they involve this? Nobody's going to. And I was just going to come to you on that. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So two things. One thing I want to add to what Vidyut said, right? I mean, and I say this, with all honesty. I think America is still the greatest country, because which other country can you go to and talk to senators and congressmen and fight for your cause, right? And have their
Yeah,
attention. The fact that I know the bill hasn't really passed, but then it almost did, right, in 2020, and it's
2020. Yeah,
you could actually do it in a country where people are listening to you and they are able to hear you out and sympathize with you. I don't think there is any other country that comes to my mind, where this is actually possible. So that's number one, and that's the reason why people want to stay in this country, because it's a great country. I mean, the system is unfair. So when
yeah,
people say कि तुम वहाँ पे क्यों हो, because it's a great country. I mean, you look around. I mean, yes, every country's got issues, but the fact that people are able to come here, live here, make their living, live happily, send their kids to great universities. I mean, the country is the full package. So you have every right to fight, for what you believe in, and make your case heard. That's number one. The other thing that you asked, look, why would the Indian government talk about, hey, हमारे लोगों को वहां रख लो? I mean, there is no, just think about it, right? I mean, there's no reason for them to. I mean,
I know.
it's like when people comment and say, why is Jaishankar Saab not talking about it? I'm like, why would Mr. Jaishankar as a foreign minister say, ki,
Take more of
take
us.
our citizens, take our citizens? I mean, and then that's the fun side. The other side is it's
Yeah,
interference, right? I mean, it's a policy of the US government, whatever law they have. And you certainly do not want any other country to come and dictate terms. Although the US does play some part in setting narrative, which is a different story altogether. But you don't want to invite that also in your own
yeah,
country. So when people say कि ये हुआ क्या, उनने पूछा क्या, I'm like, no, let's set the record straight. There is no way they should. I mean, they have nudged, and I speak this with knowledge. They have nudged about few things. For example, during 2020, when COVID hit, and President Trump actually said all the international students who
yeah,
who are not going to classes or attending remote classes need to go back, because you were
yeah,
supposed to come
yeah.
here and study. And I know for a fact that there were a lot of calls made. Uh, to the House leadership, to the Senate leadership, to convince President Trump that this whatever executive order you have, it's not going to fly. And you can go back and check. Then he had to reissue another executive order which allowed international students to stay. So there are certain things where the government or people who see there is a commonality can actually nudge and say, whatever you're saying would not make sense. And there are people who can listen to it. But asking Indian, like Americans, to take Indian citizens, I mean, that's just not going to fly. And nobody's going to fight your fight. I mean, I keep saying this: you have to show up. You have to fight your fight. People will sympathize with you. I mean, on both sides. But it's and again, I probably go back to 2020 when people were out in the streets and they had car rallies and and this is during COVID, by the way, people wearing masks and people going to the Capitol Hill and doing stuff. I think that is missing right now in this fight. But I hope that this movie can reignite that fire when people watch it and be like, what, we deserve better and we can do better. So that was a long answer to your short.
Absolutely.
Sorry, apologies.
No, and to add on to that, Vidyut has done such a great job capturing almost all elements of the high skill immigration part. Because I saw the movie when it was aired at the Tasveer Film Festival, right? She's covered dreamers, she's covered folks who want to be entrepreneurs, she's covered folks high skill in roles who can't accept promotions because it would affect their green card, right? And then she's covered cinema story. So I feel like in that I think it was 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20 minutes with it. I don't remember the time.
83 minutes, yeah.
83
Yeah.
minutes, right? You've actually done a great job covering almost every bucket of the high skill immigration spectrum, right? So that's just perfect. Like if it's like immigration 101. Hey, you want to know what's troubling the high skilled immigrants from this thing? Just watch Alien. You'll get it. You can check all the boxes as you go. Improve the dream, immigration watch. You've got you've got a stakeholder from every community in that movie. So again, a message for folks after listening to what Rohit just said: no one's going to fight your fight for you. You don't have to do anything as drastic as make a movie. Just be vocal. Just be vocal about it. That's what is missing. You don't have people speaking.
Yeah, let Vidyut do that part. I mean,
Yeah, we'll support her.
Yeah, let's.
And if you don't want to do that, let's just support her in whatever little way.
Okay, just watch it. It's like, okay. No.
Yeah, I think if anybody who hears this podcast or watches this should do, we still have like what 4, 5, 6 weeks of summer, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Just have a community event, invite people, put up a screen and make them watch the movie.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Do it. You will see the impact the movie has. I mean, it's a brilliant film, right? I mean, it talks about the issue, just not like, from like, oh, somebody's fighting for it. Very objectively, it teaches the audience about why this is an issue and how it's hurting not only the people, but in the long term, America as well. And Americans need to watch this to understand what it is. So I personally think, if any whoever listens to this, just get potluck, have some biryani and whatever you like, and put up the movie. And by the end of it, I think you will be a different person.
Wow.
I approve of the biryani part. That's actually a great segue to the. Oh yeah, it's actually a great segue to the next question that I had.
Thank you, by the way, Rohit and Rahul. Thank you.
No. It's great. I mean, we should do whatever we can to support you, right? And since we're talking about support, right, it's a natural segue into the next question I've had. How has the response and the support been from the Indian American community here? I mean, we boast of having the largest number of CEOs. We boast of having such key stakeholders in many different companies, people who can actually make it. How has the support been for you, like with the viewings and stuff, and just connecting you with different parts of folks who can actually help with Alien?
Yeah, nice. It's a very, very touchy question, I would say. So, well, it's been, first and foremost, I would say, it's been mixed. Okay. So I wouldn't say it's been completely like rough that, oh, not getting any support, nothing of that sort. However, I would say, the common people, who are here, in the US, just striving to make it happen in this country, who are currently in the green card backlog, or even people, who have, I always call them, there is a big divide between our own community, haves and have-nots. I literally call that. So who are the haves? They have their green cards, they have their citizenship. So for them, most of the time, they themselves don't know that what big mess the Indian community is currently in. They absolutely don't have any idea. In fact, like people around me also were not aware about it until I started making this film. And I started, obviously, I was talking about it in all our get-togethers about, there's up to 195 years you'll have to wait, and 200,000 people might die in the green card. They were like, whoa, 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 what is happening? We were invited to get the green
Damn, you
card. I'm
know your
like,
numbers. You know your
oh
numbers.
yeah. I've been a student of statistics, you see, but now I've got into the storytelling of those numbers, so that's the segue that I have done. But what I mean to say is that it was an eye opener for people in our community as well, right? And the objective of making this film for me from day one was not to educate our own community only, but the larger American community, because I feel unless and until you make this issue, this film, penetrate into the mainstream public domain, nothing is going to happen about it. As they say in Hindi, right? Jo log uncha sunte hai, ऊंची आवाज करना जरूरी है, right? You have to make a louder noise. So how do you do that? You have to bring it in the mainstream discussion. And how do you do that? Again, I believe that it's not about just showing the film in our own community, because I have also in some festivals I had some people come to me and say, what, this is literally our story, we could resonate with this so much, because I could feel that that pain in their eyes, because they had gone through exactly the same situation, that green card backlog, not being able to travel back home because of funeral or any happy occasion. But then, there were some audiences there who had nothing to do with visa issues, nothing to do with green card backlog. And they came up to me and said, we had no idea that this was happening. This is appalling, right? What can we do? Again, they asked those really important questions. And I was obviously flattered. I said, great, you're asking at least the right questions. So coming back to your question about what has been the response, it has been mixed. I mean, I have not got anybody, like except for Rohit or Vivek Wadhwa or Rahul Yu, Sanjay, and some other folks who are
list of great people.
yeah, no, who are strong voices. Of course, you guys are. I mean, you guys have championed the cause. You have supported it, and at least said that, guys, come on, support this film or this initiative, this cause. But apart from that, I haven't seen any of those voices that can actually create that impact in millions and millions, right? Like, we have so many followers. I mean, I always wonder, how is this current generation who is coming to the US as a student or on a work permit visa, how are we going to have the next generation of Sundar Pichais and Satya Nadellas and Indira Nuis of the world? How are we going to have that? Because nobody is going to really reach that stage until, like, what, plus 100 years? So that is my question. And then, unless we have all the voices come together, like as I said, people who are stuck in the current backlog, people who have transitioned on the other side but have understood that issue, they have supported it. But I really feel the rallying has to happen at every level, people who are at that top-notch level who can.
I have a question on that with you. So I always see this again, Twitter guys, so sorry, most of my conversations are, people say, people close the door behind fellow Indians, actually do close their door behind. Is that sense you also got from some of the people, like people are not wanting them, or is it just lack of awareness
from whom? From
all the people who already have like citizens and green card holders?
I would say lack of awareness, but lack of curiosity also. That's my biggest worry.
So I'm going to answer that question, Rohit. It was not for me, but I'm going to answer it. I'm just going to give you a personal example, right? A very close friend of mine, who's also a champion, Anuj Christian.
Oh, I met him.
Right, he's doing this huge campaign. He's doing a lot of great stuff, right? So it came up on a Facebook group, right, which, like, a very popular Facebook group, and I was devastated to see the comments from our own people who have just done this. They're like, no, we don't want America to turn into another Canada. We don't want too many Indians. Yeah, these are Indians themselves who
But
this.
do you really think those are Indians, Rahul? My question is, sometimes people make fake profiles.
There
Could be.
but there were too many for an Indian expats in USA group. It was a very popular group.
So
There's too many people.
Now this
I hope I'm proven wrong, Rohit. Again, this is what I read to the comments. It's probably a lot, but I hope I'm proven wrong. But even in, like, in-person conversations with a good number of people who've crossed over to the other side, so as to speak, with their green card and citizenship, you don't. I would expect. I am hoping for empathy. I will settle for sympathy, but what I get is apathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, well, so I'll tell you what. Sometimes I've seen those accounts, or commenting on stuff that
Yeah.
I write, and then go back and check. So they have like fake profiles, fake pictures.
I hope so. Yeah, because
Some of
I
them
was very
say
sad. I texted Anuj. Yeah, I texted Anuj. I'm like, man, this is the response, and I'm feeling so bad because you're doing so much. Which is why I have so much respect for Vidyut, because she used the word haves and have-nots. Right? Vidyut is in the have category. She has a green card. She doesn't have
I'll
to
tell
give a
you,
crap.
I'll tell you another thing, and this
Yeah,
is this could be, so this is a conversation I had with somebody,
yeah,
uh, and very very close to to me. I don't want to divulge too much information, but anyways,
yeah, yeah.
so he's like, "Oh, my son's graduating from college, and he would not be able to compete with the guys, coming from India."
I've heard that too.
And I
Heard
was
that
like,
too.
"Yeah, but the guy coming from India is going to start up a company where your son can get a job. So like, you got to be able to
Yep,
understand that." I mean,
yep,
and then that person came to the States in '96. So their vision, their view of world is so freaking different. Like, they don't live in reality. They buy into all these theories and replacement theories and
yep.
whatnot. And I just sometimes I feel pity for them, and that's the only word.
Yep,
You can only
yep,
feel pity for them.
yep.
But I've also seen second generation Americans who have spoken to about this, and they probably are not as vocal as the community would want them to be,
Yeah.
but they are not as condescending. So I think it's
I'll take it. I'll take it.
yeah, yeah,
But
you
again, just
interesting people, and yeah, with different
and
views.
just to add a note to that, I'm not by any chance categorizing everybody. There have been amazing people like Vidyut who have their green card and citizens who've gone the same path on Twitter and many places who've actually sent personal messages saying, "How can we help you? Like, we're not in as sync, but just tell us what we need and we'll help you." And to those people, thank you. It means a lot, right? It's a very slow walk towards a destination. We're taking steps in the right direction, and every piece of message or your support like this goes a long way. So, and I speak for the entire community when I say this. So thanks.
I have a question for Vidyut. I don't want to take this over, but just one more question for Vidyut, and then I'll shut up. And this is because you've shot the documentary over like what, 5 years now, six,
Hmm.
5 years,
Five
right?
years.
And you've seen people move from one to the other, and some of them are now not worried as much. Just from your sense of it, right? Talking to these people, I want to know what they went through while you were like
Yeah,
through this process, to change in government, to change of laws. I mean, because I just want to pick up from you. I mean, people will obviously see that in the film, but if you can tell us, about that process, because I think that's the most important aspect of the film, where people are going through so much mental trauma, which is hardly
yeah,
ever talked about.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the characters in the film,
Yeah, yeah,
correct?
actors.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I mean, it was a draining process for them. It was healing for some of them. Like the very first story I can say. I mean, Rahul, you've seen the film.
yeah,
It's about this young girl who is about
yeah.
to get deported, and you will be
Same.
surprised, Rohit.
Yeah,
The family, it's a family of two doctors, highly accomplished doctors in Illinois, and they had never ever spoken to their daughter about the fact that she will probably be deported. It was only when I put the mic in front of them and switched on the camera and I started asking them questions, they started talking about it. And for the first time, I mean, she was about to be 21, right? And for the first time, they actually discussed what it is, that she's on H4, and how she cannot be added onto the green card because she's by August 20th she's going to turn 21. So for some people, it was like, it was healing. They said it was very therapeutic for them.
yeah. I'm sure it must have been very
Bec-
cathartic, right? To go
yeah,
through this
because
whole
they
thing
had
and like,
they had never spoken because they were so scared, and I can completely understand. Here are these two doctors. One is a top-notch oncologist. He's one of the 10 top oncologists in the country. The wife is a family physician, and they are doing so good for the community. She was one of the first one to volunteer during the COVID crisis, that I will go and serve the patients, right? So, but here, the brutal reality is that they will have to send the kid back home, where she has no semblance of what that home is because she has lived in this country since the age of 5. So of course that was one story. There was another story about this Dr. Lopa. She's a community
yeah,
clinical psychologist. She lost her license to work during the COVID crisis, and she said, I had to send all my patients to some other psychologist when they were wanting me to be there. So I have seen, like, it's like ebb and flow of emotions.
yeah.
And for me also, to be there at the center stage listening to all this, it was extremely devastating, because obviously I was helpless. I couldn't help them. All I could do was to capture their raw emotion. But, just salute to them, Rohit. Like they were so brave and they were absolutely amazing to just speak their mind. And as you said, this is a country that probably, allows you. And
Yeah.
they literally owned it up. They were not scared. They
Yeah.
could have been, I mean, of course, there were people around them who were not even, I mean, I spoke to so many people, right? I mean, we have to filter down the process and pick the right stories to make the film happen. There were so many people who were very guarded. They were just, being very diplomatic in their answers. But here, the 5 stories that you will see, I mean, I'm very proud of them, honestly. So to answer your question, they went through extreme emotions of anxiety, betrayal, right?
Yeah.
Here they are doing so much for the country, but we are not getting anything back. And then Dr. Lopa actually said something really nice. She said, I'm constantly reminded of this quote that JFK said, that what can you do for the country, rather than ask not what you can do for the country, right? She
Yeah.
said, here we are, and it's there in the film. Here we are ready to do everything for the country, but the country doesn't want us, right? So that was the biggest irony. So extreme emotions, extreme anxiety, hopelessness, like complete hopelessness in their eyes. You will see it, when you see the film. And then some of the stories transition into something, I'll not give it away.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, if you ask me what was the point blank, what was this one emotion I carried through the film, was about complete lack of empathy towards their issues, complete lack of any kind of concern that here are high skilled immigrants who are contributing, tax paying, law abiding residents of this country, and they are doing everything wholeheartedly for this country, but there's absolutely no concern. It's like you don't exist.
Yeah.
So that kind of
It takes a
emotion.
certain courage to actually step up and
Oh,
put your
totally.
life out there for everybody. Like, so
Yeah. And they did it, for the entire
props to the
community.
folks for doing it. Like, you
Yeah.
need champions and volunteers like this, and it's so hard to find them. Like, I know I've tried so hard. Hey, you guys want to come tell your story on a platform? Let me do. We have the more people come out, it's very, very difficult. You finally trickle down to maybe 2 or 3. The fact that you got so many and they're all out there, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it took me 5 years. I mean, I have shot many other
5
interviews
years?
in the making of this film.
You're like the Rajamouli of documentary.
No. Oh my God. No, not at all. Nowhere close to that. And the entire 6th year was in the editing, because, I mean, if you see, Rahul, that, we've really captured what it is to be on H1B. Like, I've literally put, cards, what is H1B, what is H4, without making it, boring. Like, of course, it's not a tutorial on, okay, here is high skilled immigration, H1B, H4, F1. No. But it keeps coming in between and intercepts between the stories. But I had to do that. Again, the objective of making this film was not only for our audience. Like, we all know about what these visas are, what are these renewals. But if somebody is in some remote area of US, and this film is going to be on PBS very soon, so I really wanted to make it mainstream.
That's a big
Thank you.
deal.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I really wanted to make it mainstream. And how do I make it mainstream? Because people need to relate with that, right? Because we use H1B, H4, H4 EAD, green card, backlog, I-485, like onions and tomatoes. Like, we use these words so casually and easily.
I am coming up with an alphabet book, guys, with alphabets and visas.
Yeah. We use it, that's a common parlance. Yeah.
H for H1B, O for O1 visa.
But
it's like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm going to teach my kids. I'm going to teach my kids this. I'll have an alphabet book made by the time I have a child, and give him.
But how an American who has no idea about what this issue is, so we've actually gone to that level in making people understand. When somebody says H1B, we show what is an H1B. How do people? So we've really worked. Our animation department has done such a fantastic job. You will see. I mean, it's like
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I have one more question for you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rohit.
Okay,
No.
I'll tell you something. So I was on the campaign trail with Indian American Congressman Sri Thainda last Sunday. So spent like 2 days, 1.5 days actually with him, collecting footage and everything. And I was like, "Isko to main ek din mein edit kar dunga." I've only edited the first 3 minutes of it. It's such a tough job. Okay, honestly, guys, I wanted to have it out this weekend. And I'm looking at it right now, and I'm getting all these ideas. I'm like, "Isme ye bhi dal sakte," I can also put that in. So it's a very taxing job. I mean, guys,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to watch what Vidyut has done. It's
Oh, thank you.
5.5, 6 years of footage to make it into a feature documentary movie is not easy. And again, don't watch it for like, ki chalo Vidyut ki movie. Watch it for your own freaking
Yeah.
self to
Yeah.
understand how difficult you've been, like the process is, and some of those probably are not in the process yet. But it's an eye opener. So please do watch it.
Yep. Yep.
Rohit, I'll give you one tip. Kill your darlings.
Oh,
Trust me, how many
Man,
darlings I
it's
have
come
killed
full
from my
circle.
footage.
Come full
Like,
circle with you. You told us this during our
oh
pre-interview also.
yeah,
You had the
okay,
same
yeah.
question. How did you pick or during the episode? She's like, kill your dog. I was like, and a year and a half later, I'm like, oh my god, it's come full circle.
And it is so true. I have cringed. I have literally wept. Oh my God, I spent 6 hours getting that, interview, and it is so compelling. But when I'm working with my editor, because that's what we did. I had a 6 hour movie first. Then I truncated it to 4 hours, then to 2.5 hours. And then I, brought in a story editor and editor. I said, okay, here you go. Now we have to cut one more hour. So then she and I worked on it. And again, I was still
Wow.
holding on to so many things like, no, that tear is important.
Damn, with you,
That
looks
laugh
like
is important.
you got a follow on TV show in the making.
Oh my God. Every story, let me be very honest. I mean, I can say it. I don't know who all are there in the audience. Every story is a film in itself because that's such a compelling story. Each of the families, who
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
come on the film, it's really
I'm
amazing.
sorry, Rahul.
Yeah.
Can I ask one last question? I know this
You
is
can ask as many questions as you want, Rohit. As many questions as
He's
you want.
definitely Sanjay in a different avatar.
Give as many questions as you want.
Yeah.
Vidyut, walk us through the stories you've covered. You talked about the kid that's
Yeah.
aging out,
Yeah.
obviously, each one. Were there
Yeah.
people like H4EAD, people stuck in like what stage? Because what I want to do is I want the audiences to understand, like, how
Yeah.
can they relate to their own story, right? Which so just walk us through some of the
Sure.
nuances of their challenge in the story.
Sure. Yeah. So the first, family, as I mentioned, is about it's an aging out kid story, out and out,
Yeah.
because the parents are stuck in a green card backlog for 17 years. She has not got the green card, and so she will have to self-deport. That is the reality of her life, and she gets to know only. I mean, it is really. I mean, from a story point of view, I don't know, Rahul, if you felt the whole irony of it, like when Dick
When you
Durbin
first
is
you get
actually,
freedom.
yeah,
Freedom.
yeah,
Yeah, I caught
and
that. Yeah, it was
yeah,
strange.
yeah. So that happens. Then the second story is about
Yeah.
this really amazing lady, Dr. Lopa Mathur. She's a community clinical psychologist. Again, she was an H4EAD, when she lost her H4EAD.
Yeah.
And as you know, that it was like taking 16, 17 months for renewals during the pandemic. And so she
Yeah.
was stuck in that situation. And she speaks very high, very, very emotionally about what it is to be on H4. So we have covered, some aspects of what it is to be on H4 and what it is to be on H4EAD through her story. Then the third story is of Sadak and Sudarshana, really great, advocates of high skilled immigration issues.
Were they the ones in Brown, near Brown?
In Sharon, yeah, Massachusetts. I think
Massachusetts.
they're your neighbors almost like, right? So yeah, so their story is about totally about how they have pursued the American dream by believing in this land and not giving up. Like they were also stuck in the green card backlog for more than 15, 17 years, and how they did not give up and how they had aspirations of opening companies because they both are scientists. So that is a very, very strong
Yep.
story again. Then I have the fourth stories about Ketki and Girish. They are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And what happens to their lives, because they are stuck again in the same green card backlog. They try to open a company, but then what happens to that, and how they were not able to
Yeah.
actually do anything about it. And the last story is Sunaina Dumalas. Everybody knows about her, what
Yep.
happened,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
how difficult it was for her to just continue the life that she was aspiring to live with her husband, when her husband tragically his life was ended. So it is all about how she could come back and who helped her. And Kevin Yoder helped her, right? So I've mentioned that in the film. And then what were the circumstances under which she found she started her nonprofit Forever Welcome, and then what is her path forward. And then we revisited everybody's story
Everybody.
3
Yeah.
years after we shot initially. So that is again one nugget, Rohit, that we come back to all
Yeah.
their stories after 3 years and see where they are, and then that is how the film ends.
Yeah. But
And
Sunaina's story for
yeah,
me was the most uh,
I know.
impactful because I was in school in Missouri in near St.
Oh
Louis
wow.
in 2017 when this happened, and I remember the
Yeah,
headlines and the panic, right? Because
yeah, yeah.
you've got
It happened
family
in
members and
February.
everybody
Yes.
calling in and saying, "Hey, like, is it's not safe?" And then so it's yeah.
Yeah,
For me, when I saw that part, it took me back to my master's days, and I was
yeah. No, it was
was
really
you
disturbing.
got it, you captured it really well. Really
Thank
well.
you. Well, again, kudos to her for just being honest, with her
Yep.
story and telling me about it. Yeah.
So we're at 45 minutes, guys. I didn't know we took.
Oh wow, is it?
We've
Yeah.
been at 45 minutes. So, few final questions. What's next for Alien, Vidyut?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to tell actually, and I'm here for a purpose. So we are releasing Alien worldwide through pay-per-view. That is PPV. So today,
Wow.
thank you. Yeah, so everybody can actually watch it. Whoever is there on this live telecast, and after that, if they watch I mean, Rahul, maybe you can put the link there, and maybe
Yep.
people
Yep.
watch it
Yep.
the
I
recording. I know
will.
it's a Friday evening, so maybe people are not here, but so yeah, the reality is now everybody can watch it through pay-per-view, and we've kept the prices really very reasonable, so that people can go and watch it for one view, and two times view, and all over the world. By the way, it's not only to US or in India. And in India, in fact, we are having a 30% discount going on. So I would really encourage people to watch it. And I do feel there is value in watching the film for various reasons, right? I mean, as I discussed, Rahul and Rohit, that people who are in that have category, they should also watch it.
Yeah.
They need to know what is happening with their community and what they can
Oh
do
yeah.
about it,
Oh
because
yeah.
I don't blame them, if they are completely ignorant, but I would definitely blame them if they don't have the curiosity, right? That is my, as I said, that is my biggest worry, if people don't show the curiosity, right? Again, people who are stuck in the current
Yep.
H1B green card backlog, there are some comments. Sometimes people, say that, hey, but we are already going through this issue. Why should we watch it? It's not for you. Watch it so that you can educate someone else that,
Yeah.
hey, watch this film, because it's moving images, audio, video, visual medium is so potent. It's so strong.
Yep.
It can create impact. It can really move things, that you cannot think about, maybe just by written words. I mean, I'm not trying to devalue written words, but what I'm saying is use this medium, that we have. And if we have stories, compelling stories, if you see raw emotions, it does, create impact. So as Rahul, we were talking about that, if you
Yep.
watch it and if you even share it with one more person, that, hey, do you really want to know what I'm going through? Like, they talk about engineers and doctors contributing, like Indians are doing so great. We have so many doctors, like 15% doctors treating 30% of America. But do you even know, have you even tried to delve deeper and see
Yeah.
maybe how many doctors in that percentage are on H4EAD serving, within a, like one single doctor serving, within a radius of 80 miles. There's just this one single doctor who is an Indian doctor, Indian immigrant doctor,
Yep.
who is on H4EAD. So watch it for that awareness, because
Yep.
again, unless you make it like, it's like a, you don't expand the vision, of what it is to be a high skilled immigrant in this
Yep.
country, don't make it a mainstream issue. I don't think anything will happen, because you cannot do it in, just in your own cocoon, like only, thousands of people are talking about it and within our own community.
Yep.
Again, the main objective of making this film was not just to, showcase it within our community. Of course, that is definitely a given audience, but going beyond the community, right? People who have no idea about what it is to be a high skilled immigrant stuck in a green card backlog, show it to them. And that's why I'm always looking for opportunities, and that's why I'm excited about PBS and PPV
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
because that will probably,
Just to put it in
let the
perspective, I
doors
mean, even when
open.
you said it's not I'm going through it, it's just put in perspective for the people who are on H1B going through this, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have that 60-day clock for a good percentage of your
Yeah.
lives. If in June, if you looked at the layoffs, tech layoffs just till June, that's when I last looked, it was almost 60,000 jobs. We have Intel cutting 20,000. We've got Cisco doing around a couple of thousand jobs next week. Think about the number of people that are
Yeah.
going to be impacted by this, who are going to suddenly wake up one day and realize that they have 60 days to uproot their entire life if things don't work out in this country, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You're in the journey, you don't want to do it, but you don't have a choice. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
wake up and be a champion for the cause, right?
Yeah.
Just supporting, watching the movie, sharing with your friends. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go ahead and make a movie like Vidyut's done. Just share it with one or two people, right? You can do that. It's copy and paste. This movie made a difference to me. Watch it. That's it. That's all you need to do, and it would be make it made a difference. She's put a lot of time and effort and money into this, guys. So I think it's whatever she's charging for this, barely anything to go ahead and watch it. It's actually even cheaper than the film festival. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
right,
Wow. That drains your pocket for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and PBS is actually a great platform to get your, if there's any entrepreneurs there and you want to get
Yeah.
your you want to showcase and highlight your brand. PBS is a great platform to get that recognition. And we're proud to say that Area 51's partnered with Vidyut on that, right? And
Yeah.
we've come on board as sponsors. So if you want to do it, if you want to like highlight your brand out there, Vidyut is looking for sponsors. So feel free to, you know, I will put in an interest form into I'll link it to the video description so you guys can click on it and just put your email in and we'll reach out and then, we can discuss more on how you can be a part of this and get that, you know, get that. Not only are you supporting your community, you're getting an added advantage of spotlight too because you're being an ally. So I
Yeah.
think it's a win-win. Yep.
Yeah, one important thing I'll definitely highlight that it's very common for our own community to talk a lot about how great we are. Like Indians are everywhere. We have how many 15, 16 CEOs
Yep.
of big American companies. We have doctors, engineers, scientists. But let's not forget, there is one more reality. So while you're celebrating all the achievements, please do not devalue this achievement is all the more important because probably they are still going through the visa issues. Not everybody
Yeah.
must be out of the visa hurdles, right? As I said, maybe the doctors who are serving, probably they are on H1B, constant renewals. They probably have gone through umpteen renewals themselves, waiting for
Oh
green
yeah.
card, right?
Oh yeah.
So their achievement is absolutely all the more important because they are still, yeah, they are facing the visa issues like the doctors featured in the film. They're facing the visa issues, but still they are doing their job, as law abiding tax paying residents and serving the community. So let's
Yeah.
not discard that. That is the reality that we need to speak about. That's the whole
Yep.
point I really feel. While you're celebrating Indians, don't just celebrate them, for their
That
achievements.
article was, it made me smile. I don't know if you guys read it. It's like, the most affluent community, everybody is so successful.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you actually delve into it, you'll understand that you don't have a chance not to be. If you do, you slip once, you're like out of the country in 60 days. By default, everyone who's here is
Can I
going to be successful at like
can I can I add something to that, Rahul? I think so.
Yeah.
I should speak about it more openly. I think the desks, the news desks in India, they have no clue. They don't do any research. They do a very sarkari copy paste job, right? So somebody like a wire agency like AP Rogers, right? We've got our own Indian ANI and PTI and whatnot. They see a data, they just put it out, and everybody just runs with that story. Nobody talks about it because they don't. I mean, they're not getting paid well in India, so like, why the f should I even spend time? I mean, I'm being very open about it, and delete
yeah,
it if you can. But I mean, I just wanted to
no,
be, I just wanted to set the right expectation, right?
yeah.
So, and then I've tried to like talk to a lot of news channels in India, and like this is important, and they're like, nobody wants to see this Indian struggling. The story is Sundar Pichai. The story is Nadella. The story is MLC. The story is like they.
Kamala.
Well, so that's the reality, like their reality. They're like, तो क्या है सब बढ़िया है वहाँ पे कोई tension नहीं है, and I'm like, you guys have no idea. So in that again, just to add to what you guys were saying, it is very important that people actually talk about this as much as they can.
Hmm.
I remember there was a Twitter user, I don't remember their name now, and he had a long conversation. And the fact that there's a taboo attached to discussing about it, that needs to be taken away. So
Yes.
talk about it among yourselves to your American, friends
Yes.
and neighbors and whoever you can. Bring that awareness that not all is hunky dory. We might be driving Teslas, but you, we don't know if we can drive Teslas after 18 months because something is going to go into a renewal, right? So I think it's very important. And the other aspect to that is also, which I stated earlier, is you've got to fight your own fight, and nobody else is going to come and do this. So you could
Yep.
do it today. Go to the link. I think is probably a link somewhere. I'm assuming. Go to
Yep.
the
I
link.
already
Oh, you
put
did?
it
Yeah, I
in the
Okay.
think
chat.
Rahul.
It-
I
Yeah,
already,
he
and
put it.
I will
Please,
also put it in the description of the video later
yeah,
on. Yeah.
please watch the film with your spouse, with your kids, whoever.
Yep.
Have a watch party. I'm pretty sure all our Indian people in the US can afford to spend the amount of money, and it's nothing. It's barely nothing. It's
It's
probably
under 10, guys.
it's
Yeah.
probably two
It's eight.
subways.
Yeah.
Do it, please watch it.
Yeah.
And what I would personally want to do is, after we've had a lot of people watch it, we can come back and do this again, so we can talk about what our community has
Yeah.
done. But
Yeah.
if you don't watch it, don't tweet at me and don't ask me kya chal raha hai. I'm not going to respond to anything.
Wow, Rohit, that's awesome. Thank
Uh,
you.
and on
That's an
that, to add on to that, guys, if you watch it and put out tweets, tag with your tag Rohit, tag us,
Oh yeah,
right?
do tag us. I mean,
Yes,
so
please
we'll
do
know.
that.
And the best tweet, like Rohit said, we're going to come back and talk about this after the response, right? And we will invite you guys to come on and
Yeah,
actually
That will be
talk about
great.
what you
Yeah.
felt, talk about what you felt when you watched it. So it's a great opportunity for you to meet Vidyut and Rohit, and I'm always available, so I'm not even gonna put myself on that list. So watch it, tag us, tell us what you thought, tell us if you know how much of an impact it made you and how much you resonate with it, and share it with a friend. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, can't wait to hear the feedback. Absolutely.
Yep.
And use it to educate people who ask you, what exactly is the issue?
yeah,
Watch it, because it's hard to explain to people. I can understand that itself is very draining, Rohit, right? That, oh, I'm on H4 and, then my visa is attached to my husband's
Yep.
visa and,
Yep.
oh my God, it is
and
extremely
and
difficult.
and
So,
to add on with you, the timing is just great because in a few weeks you're going to have the next crop of students coming starting their fall semesters, right? we
oh
had we
you
had four, yeah, 100, almost 150,000 student visas issued for 2024, right? With around that number. So this is just a great time, right? And more than anything, there's no awareness for students on what is life here before they come. So this is great. You equipping them with, hey, you know what? This is what I have waiting for me after I finish, right? What can I do right now
yeah,
to prepare for that, as opposed to just riding the wave and then getting hit with rocks
coming
every now
blindly.
and then.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you
I feel the timing is just perfect in that sense too. Yep.
I'm really glad you made that point, because you know what, people often ask me in panel discussions, it comes up, so why did you make this film? Are you trying to, even like, there was one person had asked me, are you trying to say that people should not come to US? I said, no, I'm not saying that, but they should come here, make an informed decision. That is the
yeah,
most important thing. Like,
Yep.
don't come here blindly that, okay, one fine day I wake up and, I want to go to US. Great, of course. I mean, I will never say don't come to US. Of course, come to US. Again, as Rohit said, this is a great country. Absolutely. I mean, I became a filmmaker here, because I had a great cushy executive job in the media industry in India. I was enjoying it. But after coming here, I just decided, no, I want to make my own films. I went and made a film about deaf people in India. That was also on PBS and many festivals. Then this film, started when I landed in US. I've said this story earlier also, that the word alien stuck with me at the San Francisco International Airport, where there were two queues at the immigration. One was US citizens and the other was aliens. And I'm like, who are aliens, and then that is where actually that was a trigger to make this film. So I have so much of you know what? I have everything to credit to this country, that what it has made me, right? Even this voice that I have, even this confidence that I have to make a film like this. So I'm the last person on this planet who would say, hey, no, don't come to us. No, absolutely come here, but come with an informed decision that, okay, I'm coming here, because of my studies, because of work permit, whatever visa that I'm getting. But what exactly is the reality of me coming there and staying in the US? Don't come here with this, like, okay, I'm just going to go to the US and, we'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll take it, as it comes. No, don't do that.
Please don't
Because,
do that.
yeah, because
Please.
you're going to not only hamper your life, your family's life. I mean, imagine not being able to go back to your home country. Like, I will tell you one real short example. Like, my animation guy who was working on the film, he has a brother in the US, okay? And when he started working with me, he said, Vidyut, you know what? Now I understand why my brother doesn't travel that often. We almost had a cold war between us because he used to not come every time. He used to say, no, I have visa issues, no, my green card is stuck, I cannot travel, and we used to get angry at him. But now, because I'm working on your film, I'm getting more enlightened about this issue. So basically generating that empathy is so important. So I just feel, watch this film to get that awareness about what the reality is. That's it. That's the
Yep.
only agenda of this film. Yeah.
Yep. On that note, we're at
Yeah.
1 hour. Any closing words, Rohit?
No, I think I've said it again. Watch the film. Vidyut has done an amazing job. Please make sure that you take an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes time from your busy schedule and all the potlucks and all the cricket games. Just it's important, not because we are trying to promote this film. I think it's an important story. It's your story. अगर आप खुद की स्टोरी नहीं देख के इंस्पायर हो सकते तो there is nobody that can help you. So
Yep.
please do watch it. Put the subtitles for the Hindi stuff. But do definitely watch the film. And I think if you guys are able to do this, it'll inspire a lot of other people to do a lot of great stuff.
Yep.
And I think as a community, we should all be very thankful for what Vidyut has done. So thank you so much, Vidyut, for putting all the effort in making this documentary.
Well, thank you so much, Rohit, to
Great
you and
job.
Rahul.
Great job.
Couldn't have
Great
thanked
job.
you guys enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right, folks. The hitman has said it himself. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please reach out if you have any questions. Please support Vidyut. Please like all of Rohit's tweets. And he's doing a great job for us. And
He is.
keep listening to the Area 51 podcast. And see you in the next live. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Rohit, again for this amazing support and for showing up and organizing this. Can't thank you
course.
guys enough. And
course.
to everyone who is there, listening to us today. Thank you again.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye. Have a good weekend. Bye.